we got some sound. Yep. Okay. I think I mentioned last time, but I want to make sure we understand again. Listen to the following two phrases carefully. One thing you'll see written on an AP test on occasion is, the graph of the second derivative of f is shown. So sometimes you'll read, the graph of the second derivative of f is shown. If you read that, raise your hand and tell me, what graph are they showing you? The graph of the second derivative of f is shown. So type.
It'd be like the acceleration, the one that's the rate of the range.
Very good. So they'd be showing, wouldn't necessarily be a little cautious with that. Acceleration isn't always considered to be the second derivative. It is the second derivative of position, so I'd be careful with that one. But definitely, if they say the second derivative of f is shown, they're showing you f double prime. How many knew it? Point, 2 for tie. Next thing. This is different. Yeah, I can't talk when you're talking, so it takes forever if I have to keep waiting. But this says the graph of a twice differentiable function f is shown. Okay, one thing you need to have on a flashcard is this. You need to have on a flashcard, differentiable, question mark. What does that mean? Then when you flip it over, it should say, let's see, just on the front, maybe I'd say something like f is differentiable, question mark. So I kind of prompt my memory for what I'm supposed to be remembering. Then I would flip it over and it would say something like, number 1, I can find the tangent slope of f. That's what it means to say f is differentiable. I can find the tangent slope of f. Item 2 on my little flashcard memory would be, therefore, I know every y coordinate of f prime. Those are connected. So I want to make sure I'm making the connections. So the front side says f is differentiable, question mark. Flip it over, back side says number 1, I can find every tangent slope of f. Number 2, therefore I know every y coordinate of f prime. Number 3 would be f is not differentiable if f has a discontinuity, corner, or vertical tangent. Okay, I think that's a pretty good summary on one card of what you should be remembering when you see the word differentiable. So, please.
Type differentiable just means that there's an f in space double prime.
Just means you can do it again. So f being differentiable means I can go from f to f prime successfully. F being twice differentiable means I could continue and go from f prime to f double prime successfully. Question from that. Other questions about what it means to say that the graph of a twice differentiable function f is shown? Okay, so let me catch up on their notes. So raise your hand, please. So what graph is being shown here? Show me your hands. What graph is on the board? One of the keys to the test on Thursday is they're going to ask many questions where they're asking about this. I'll use my hands this way all year. They'll say, I want this information. But you have to give me this information by knowing about something else. So you have to start with knowing what are they giving you. So what is the graph of? Hands, come on. Yeah. 2 points for Brianna. That's the common error, actually, is the wording is so similar. So when they say the second derivative of f is shown, that would be f double prime. But when they say a twice differentiable function f is shown, they're showing you f, but they're saying with this f, you could find all of the points on f prime. And then taking that f prime, you can find all the points on f double prime. See the difference? So how many knew that this was f? Point. Okay. So this is f. Okay, next key thing to notice is they are only asking about 1 point on this entire graph. X equal 1. So go right here. another big clue. They have put these kind of ordering problems on the AP test routinely for years. And whenever they've done an ordering problem, just read the name for me. Just read the name. Just read the name. Pretty neat. Okay. Okay, when they put these ordering problems on the test, they are always asking you to figure out which of these is negative, which of these is 0, and which of these is positive. Okay? I suppose they could invent a problem where they'd want you to know, which of these is more negative. They never have yet. They might, but this is where I would kind of start. So I look at the graph. Raise your hand and tell me. Is f of 1? 0 is the easiest place to start. Is f of 1, 0? Is f prime of 1, 0? Is f double prime of 1, 0? Which of these three has to equal 0?
1.
F of 1. Raising the hand is good, but
Oh, sorry.
it's all right. Who had their hand raised and knew it? Point. You're okay. Just it's better if more people are thinking. So f of 1 has a value of 0. And again, you're not copying me, but yeah, please, sir.
Why are you finding the -0 positive?
Why?
Yeah.
The why is that they're saying I've got 3 different values here. They're ordered from least to most, because they're saying this is the least, then like so. Does that make sense? So they could be asking for, what's most negative, and then not quite as negative, and then, least negative. But from experience, I've noticed on AP questions, I've seen about 10 of these. They have always asked for this. So that's not a guarantee. That's more like a test-taking tip. And I've noticed from a lot of AP tests that that's usually what they want. Does that make sense? Good question. 2 points. Anybody else? Okay. Raise your hand, please, if you know how to figure out whether f prime of, how do you figure out whether f prime of 1 is positive, negative, or 0? How do you determine whether f prime of 1 is positive, negative, or 0? Let's go, Callie.
You look at whether it's increasing or decreasing.
Okay, we want to avoid the foul language. It's kind of a surprise coming from a nice young lady like Callie, but we want to figure out if f is increasing or decreasing, because f increasing or decreasing will tell me whether f prime is positive or negative. So I notice right here at x equal 1, f is definitely increasing. So the tangent slope right there is positive. This tangent slope of f is positive. I mean, you knew that before Callie said it? Point. 2 for Callie. Okay. Questions? Okay, the big idea here is illustrated in Danica's chart. And this does show up in multiple AP questions. Answer this question. What characteristic of f prime, what characteristic of f always tells you about f prime? Just hands, come on. What is the characteristic of f that will always tell you something about f prime? What is the primary characteristic of f that always tells you something about f prime? Let's go, Devin. It's increasing. It's the increasing, decreasing. It's straight off Danica's chart. If f is increasing, you know that every y coordinate of f prime will have a positive value, and the opposite. How many do that? 0.2 per Devin. What is the characteristic of f that tells you something about f double prime? What is the characteristic about f that tells you about f double prime? Kevin? It's the concavity. How many do it? 0.2 for Kevin. So, somebody tell me, what's the, what do we know about f double prime at 1? What do you know about f double prime at 1? Hit it.
It's negative because
You've been following Callie's much.
dang it.
It's okay.
F is concave down, so F double prime would be negative.
Perfect. F is concave down, the y coordinate of F double prime, y coordinate must be negative. Okay, 2 for Ada. Something that has caused people trouble. In all of our conversations, keep telling yourself, we are talking of the y coordinate. The x is a locator. Okay? The x is the same for all of these. It's the y coordinates that are different. And the x is involved, but primarily we're talking y coordinates. So F double prime is, see concave down, so F double prime is negative. So now I know that the correct answer is this one. Follow-up questions. Again, another point for Sarah. The why questions are the most important. Like every time you say, why did you, how did you know that? Why did you know that? Why did you do this? Why did you think that way? The more you say why, the more you are concept focused, not process focused. So. Cool, next one. So stop on 9.